So you have the apron of the Masons with the skin of the innocent lamb. They take the skin and they turn it into a Masonic apron. So in this way they cover their root chakra, their fleshly vile parts, their depravity, their sin with the skin of the lamb. They hide the wolf in sheep's clothing, just like the lamb of Christianity, as Christians believe, the one to cover our sin was the scapegoat of the tribes of Israel, which was Jesus. The scapegoat, the term scapegoat comes from the Bible, the Jewish tradition of taking a goat and sending it out into the wilderness for Azazel, and that goat would have on it all the sins of the tribes of Israel. It would carry with it on its back all the sins of man. That scapegoat would be sent out. A sacrificial goat. So this lambskin apron of the Masons is their original garment for their craft. The Masonic apron that the ancient Egyptian workers of the pyramid wore when they were working their craft, the Masonic apron. This covers their root chakra. The first man and woman in the Bible, whenever they became ashamed of their nakedness, because they were now a civilized people who had eaten of the fruit of knowledge, they decided to make garments to cover their sin, their nakedness, their fleshly bits, which is represented as the fig tree, by the way, because the fig was the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, the first agriculturalized fruit. They took from the fig tree fig's leaves and made aprons for themselves, as it says in the book of Genesis, specifically aprons, just like Masonic aprons. The first thing to cover our sin was the leaf of the fruit which caused the sin. So we have to look at this from a chakra perspective. The root chakra, covered by the fig leaves. If we want to look at 5 different chakral points in the body, since the last 2 are technically outside of the body, 5 major internal body chakra points. They're from the book of Thomas. They're referred to as the 5 trees of paradise. Okay? 5 trees of paradise I've laid out for you, and it says anyone who knows the secret identity of these 5 trees, which I decoded after a fucking grueling months studying it, figure out what the 5 different trees were, and they line up perfectly with what the 5 internal chakra nodes are. And the bottom, the root chakra, that actually binds you in a fifth chakra state to the material plane, your reproductive organs, is what was covered with the fig leaves. It was covered with an apron. So below the bottom of the chakra nodes, right? The middle is the heart. The top is the crown chakra. The crown, what would the crown chakra, one of those 5 chakra points, what would the crown chakra represent in way of a tree? What did all ancient rulers wear on their heads to show their nobility? The olive leaves, the crown of the wise, the crown of the conquering, the crown of the first Olympics. Jesus didn't have a crown of olive leaves. Though he was victorious over death, he went back into dying. So he did not claim his olive crown. He instead was given a crown of briars, the bramble bush briars, blackberries. This is the bramble from the book of Isaiah that the other trees of paradise bow to. The bramble bush, the thorns, the weeds that grow up in a short season, for only after 2 years they start putting off fruit. Only 1 season without fruit, and then the fruit cometh fast. And as it says in the book of Revelations, when the fruit becomes ripe, the harvest comes fast, and the rider goes out with the sickle to collect from the harvest. The crown chakra is the olive tree. This represents the mind, more specifically intelligent DNA, and the ability to graft, but new thoughts are along the same idea. The olive tree gives us the unction, the anointing oil that Mary Magdalene anointed Christ, his root chakra. With the oil that contains fire, oil of olive.